Devon frowns as they pull into the parking lot of the motel, staring at all the graffiti covered walls. The cartoonish caricatures have a way of cheapening this experience, like this is only a stupid haunted house attraction. So, this is home base? Huh? Devon rubs the back of his head, feeling self conscious after talking this place up for so long. It didn't look this bad in the pictures. People never have respect for this stuff. I don't think it looks bad. I love street art like this. And it just makes me feel less alone. Like a lot of people have been here and we're just fine. Actually, keep an eye out in case one of them is lurking around. All the graffiti artists I knew were really nice. It's not nice to do it in a place where a bunch of people got killed. Well, I think a lot of people would disapprove of what we're doing. And I know you're nice. So just lighten up a little bit. Ow! Jeez! Cameron walks past the bear, slapping him hard on the ass as he does. Devon raises a brow, not sure what to make of Cameron's high spirits. They just had one of the heaviest conversations of the relationship, and... well, maybe that is why. If Cameron was feeling more comfortable being honest and open with Dev, then that could only be a good thing in the bear's mind. After returning a much harder ass slap that makes Cameron yelp, the bear joins him in exploring the area. Considering that the motel is supposed to be the most haunted building in Echo, Devon had thought it would be a good idea to set up base there. Specifically in room 12, but most of the numbers are missing, and most of the heavy metallic doors are locked. Even though they're all dented from what looks to be the result of literal battering rams. Well, they sure seem to care a lot about boarding the place up. They probably got tired of dumbasses crawling in and getting hurt. Yeah, but luckily I'm not a dumbass. Hey, what about me? Well, I don't think a music degree would help us in this situation. But you're still pretty smart. Oh shit. That's right. You majored in mechanical engineering and work at the most valuable industrial automation company in the country. Yep. Devon is a little taken aback by just how cold Cameron's response is. Well, go on. Your classes in dynamics and calculus-based physics should figure this out for us. Cameron's voice drips with sarcasm, and Dev can only assume he's making fun of the way the bear had tried to impress him with his coursework during their first dates. But Devon tries to salvage the earlier good-natured mood. Well, I could probably break those boards as long as I move my fist at a high velocity. You see, the amount of kinetic energy. Dev's half-hearted teasing trails off. He had never much liked the outright disdain his fellow STEM students had for the arts and soft sciences. It's just that it would get Cameron riled up, and that was funny. In college. Now Devon just feels like a dick. Besides, Cameron's ability to understand and play music is basically magic to the bear. Devon's grasp of music is surface level, and he's slightly tone deaf to boot. Cameron wouldn't ever point this out. He'd just sing along and attempt to harmonize. And while Devon had been offered his six-figure salary career before he even graduated, he had watched Cameron's dreams of working in the music industry slowly evaporate over the past 3 years. Now Cameron is working at a call center he hates. The bear had thought himself to be so smart in college, and yeah, he did alright. But now, he's becoming more aware of what a dumbass he is when it comes to communication with actual people, with his literal boyfriend. He needs to apologize for this one. The bear clears his throat. Yo, Cam. The bear shuffles up to the coyote, but before he can say anything, Cameron just points at the door. See? Number 8. And the door over there is number 3. So, counting in this direction... Cameron's frosty demeanor is completely gone. 10, 11, and room number 12. And wouldn't you know it? It's open! Aw, sweet! Thanks. I went to college. Haha. Now, I'll go in first to make sure everything's clear. Of what? I don't know. Squatters? Well, get ready to find a dead squatter because how the hell would they survive? Actually, you just reminded me that there are a couple of creeps that live here. Like stubborn locals that won't leave. At least, that's what a post said from like 2 years back. What? I don't like the sound of that. Are they dangerous? From what I gathered, they're more of the get off my lawn variety of creeps. Those types can still be dangerous. If no one's been killed by him yet, then I think we're good. But, like I said, I'll look out for you. Dev lets out a mock growl. I'll make them permanent residents of Echo. By that, I mean dead ones. Devon... Now Devon can tell that the coyote really is upset. What's wrong, babe? You told me no one lived here. You said that a bunch of times. Cameron, it comes up so few times in the forum, and the posts I remember were really mundane. I honestly just forgot. Alright. Devon stares at the coyote, waiting, but he doesn't say anything. Cameron, is there anything you want to tell me? If there is, I'm still hoping you'll be open like you said. I know. Hey, it's all good, man. It's not like I'm expecting you to just share everything on your mind now. But I'm here to listen if you want to talk. It's just hard to explain. Because the fact that there are real people still living here does make it a little scarier. Does it have to do with the dreams you were having? Devon watches Cameron closely, but he does seem genuinely confused himself. Kinda. But they were weird. I don't think they really meant anything. Yeah, I'm just overreacting. I just really don't want to have the deliverance experience on top of the ghost, you know? I getcha. There's nothing wrong with being vigilant. My friend from Southland, one from the town even more haunted than Echo. He says something horrific happens between a backpacker and an outback redneck every other year or so. How comforting. But while I was sort of joking earlier, if anyone tries anything, I will do what needs to be done to stop them. Dev doesn't tell Cameron that, in that moment, he kinda does wish he'd gone through with getting a gun for protection. If those men are still around, the bear has no doubt that they have plenty of guns. Well, let's not think about that because it's not going to happen. Unless they are squatting in that room. Not for long! The bear's exaggerated bravado becomes genuinely cautious as he opens the door. The room is hotter than it is outside, as if it were magnifying and trapping the heat. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is doable. Hey, Cam, all clear! Oh, no murders hillbillies in the. Oh, gross. What were you expecting? We just need to straighten it out a bit. Look, there's even a mattress over there. Wait, we're not going to use it for sleeping or anything, are we? Why do you think I brought sheets? Oh, I am not sleeping in. Kidding. Those are just to give us something to cover up the disgusting places we might sit. I already told you I have a room booked in Peyton. And we better use it, no matter how into this you get. Of course, but we might as well make this place as comfortable as we can anyway. Cam is quiet and Dev turns to see him staring at a plethora of rusty nails on the ground around the window and mattress. Your tetanus shot is up to date, right? That's a great question. Yeah, great. Just don't puncture yourself on anything. I'll try to clean those up at least, along with all the other sharp, rusty things on this floor. Cameron watches Dev step back, brushing his paws against each other loudly. Well, I'd say that's rather cozy, don't you think? I've seen actual homes that look worse, so yeah, I'd say so. Cameron eyes the couch and slowly sits on the edge, not quite trusting it despite the sheet. So, what do you know about paranormal investigation? You said you did research? Turns out you just run around with a flashlight and call the ghost a bitch. Good one. Damn, sorry. Didn't know the reality show ghost hunts were such a sore spot for you. They've single handedly ruined the credibility of actual investigations. Well, they brought it more attention, right? Anyway, all I really know is what you do. EVP stuff, taking pictures, just sitting around and waiting. Stuff like that. That's a start. Actually, I was thinking you deal with most of that stuff, so what I mainly researched had to do with those who are gifted. It's almost physically impossible for the coyote to use that word to describe people like him. Oh, yeah? I wanted to say earlier how happy I was you looked through that forum. It must be annoying just hearing me go on about it when I don't even experience it. No, you're fine, Dev. Actually, Cameron much preferred to hear it from Dev. Half of the people on the forums were clearly liars with a savior complex. And then the other half were contacting these assholes to help communicate with a dead loved one. Cameron couldn't stomach it and just ended up looking at a blog that seemed a bit more legit. So, what did you find out? The way the bears lit up now that they're talking about investigating reminds Cameron that he needs to at least try. Well, according to the psychics, it's pretty simple if you have the extra sense. First, approach the location with clear intentions. I'm here to see or hear something from the past. Second, keep an open mind, which is something I promise to do. And finally, if you sense that the presence is hostile, always remember that it can hurt you. In these cases, they might not actually have ever been a person. I wouldn't worry about demon shit. Even I have a hard time believing in that. Hey, there's something we can agree on. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume something terrible happened in this room. Why else look for a specific room, right? I don't want you to tell me what happened, but I also assume this is a bit of a test. Well, I don't want to call it a test. I'm going to be recording and looking for the thing that happened in this room, too. Just thought you might want to see if you sense anything and compare it with what actually happened. I think that's a good start. I'm just going to do some light touch sensing, I think they call it. So I won't see anything, but just sense what might have happened. But tell me if you feel things aren't right, of course. I'll be fine. Alright, let's get started. We won't go super late tonight. Just want to get a feel for things. Sure. I'll, get started by opening my mind and making my intentions clear. Okay, babe. I love you. Devon leans in and kisses Cameron on the head. Then Cameron watches as Dev turns off the lantern, plunging them in the darkness. Lugging around equipment while trying to be quiet about it quickly gets Devon sweaty through his shirt. He hadn't really thought about the heat, even when Cameron was complaining about it, but his shirt had been plastered to his fur, and he had to take it off. He's making the extra effort not to disturb the coyote because Cameron seems to be really trying, his eyes closed and ears up. Devon doesn't even ask him to take out his phone so he can record audio. He just did it, and to Dev, that just proves how much Cameron wants to do this. As Devon goes about testing his equipment, Cameron shifts and mumbles something. Dev perks up. Hey, hun. I'm right here. Are you alright? I need to get more comfortable. At the same time, he adjusts himself so that his feet are on the suitcase in front of him. Oh, okay. Something about Cameron's demeanor is bothering Devon. And Cameron's words were a little slurred. And he does seem kinda not quite there. Should he pull him out of it? Devon had never seen a psychic in action before, so maybe this is normal, like a trance. He hopes it's normal, because even if Devon can find his answers, he'd give them up for Cameron to discover he isn't psychotic. As he's fiddling with his EMF sensor, dread suddenly clutches at his chest. What if the opposite happened, and Cam really did lose his mind? Like when his mom got psychosis. If that happens, Devon is only now realizing that he would be responsible, and how could Cameron forgive him for that? How could he forgive himself? Shit! Dev hisses under his breath. What the fuck is he doing? Bringing his boyfriend to this room where that happened. He was usually alone or with friends when doing these investigations, and his want to see something always overpowered the fear. He just assumed Cam would be used to scary shit, especially after he described that flat-faced creature in a raincoat that he'd been seeing since he was a kid. He just assumed. Why is it only now that he's realizing what the consequences can be? Well, it's changed because the things Cameron had told him by the lake had changed a lot of things in the bear's mind. This isn't something a loving partner does to another partner. He's fucking using Cameron for his own selfish reasons. Cameron knows that the coyote has some kind of ESP abilities, but that didn't mean he didn't also have other issues that could fuck him up. That didn't mean that possibly seeing these awful things wouldn't cause him to develop more issues. All the wind taken out of his sails, Devon stares at the ground, thinking. Then he gets up and paces for a bit, beginning to make up his mind, deciding that right after this, they'd be done, no matter what. The bear looks at the closet, the one where a wolf from the Meseta Tribal Council hung himself in the early 90s. If only he could see one thing, just one sliver of proof that she's on the other side, he'd be at peace with all this. Really, the biggest hurdle ahead of him is the embarrassment of ditching his plans and figuring out how to tell Cameron why. Dev lets out a shuddering sigh, standing in the closet, looking at that bar, wondering if it's the same one that the wolf used. Devon feels something. Not a good something. A chill runs up his spine, and suddenly he's shivering. No way. It's actually happening. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's all he can manage to say. It's happening, but it feels so wrong. Then a fear that he's never known before takes over. He wants to turn around. He wants to call out to Cameron, but it's like something is around his neck, holding him in place. Then he hears a terrible sound behind him. Cameron knows something is happening for sure. It's scary, but at the same time, it's making him question what he'd always believed. Had Devon been right about this stuff? Had he just misunderstood himself for so long? He could sense someone, nothing like the monsters he'd seen in the past. Instead, this was a man, in a suit with a bolo tie. He was sad, he was angry, and he was terrified. Cameron knew this was often what psychics described when talking about sensing people from the past. You feel their most intense moment in life. This man, this wolf, he's going to do something terrible. And while Cameron is marveling over this, the wolf suddenly changes. At the same time, Cameron feels his focus turn to him. This gives the coyote pause, because now this presence was trying to interact with him. Was this right? Cameron thinks it could be, but something doesn't feel right about it. Like this isn't what he thinks it is. But he supposes that anyone doing this for the first time would feel it to be strange. Maybe he was doing the light sensing wrong. The point is to listen to the past, like a recording. This direct communication is scaring the coyote, but this could be his chance to answer Dev's question, and his own question for that matter. I'm sorry to bother you. What's after death? Where do we go? It feels stupid and clumsy, but it's all that comes to his mind. So Cameron asks it over and over. There's a long, empty pause. Then something like a cackle. It almost sounds fake, like a Halloween toy, but it's dark, mean, and it's making fun of him. All of the feelings of wonder and hope for a breakthrough are deflated instantly. He needs Dev. He needs to open his eyes. Cameron's eyes are heavy, and he can barely focus. Something has gone terribly wrong. This presence is evil, malicious. This isn't a person. Now, all that the coyote can sense is that profound tragedy has just taken place. He needs Devon, and he thinks he sees him as his vision begins to slowly focus. At first, Cameron doesn't understand what he's seeing. How is Dev standing like that? Why isn't he moving? He realizes why over the next few seconds. The unnatural way Dev's weight seems to pull up at his neck says it all. Cameron starts screaming, but is weak, muffled, barely a wheeze from his throat. And he can't move. Paralysis. This isn't real! This is sleep paralysis. But something about this is so fucked. So real. And he couldn't have fallen asleep. He's almost positive about that. But even if he had, his boyfriend could actually be hanging himself while the coyote sits uselessly on the couch. Terror begins to engulf him. How could this happen? How could he do this? How? Cameron tries screaming again, but again it's just a wheeze of breath. He stares at Devon's contact image, instead of Devon dead in the closet. They took that picture in college, 5 years ago, and just a month into their relationship. At the time, it was a token to show his other gay friends, to prove he had a boyfriend, and that he was a handsome bear. And he'd never changed it, even though he had no one to show it off to anymore. How the hell did they end up here? The phone picks up and switches to the speaker automatically. Cameron knows deep down that this must be a dream, but Devon is still hanging in the closet. And he's overcome by the horror that this could just be a partial dream, and that the worst part of it is real. It makes Cameron try and fail to scream again. You want to know, like? Cameron stares at the phone, unable to understand through the static, but able to recognize the voice. You said you want to know what? Like to die? I'd say it's like drowning forever. Conscious forever while you suffocate for what made you happy while you were alive. Then again, you don't believe in anything. So what you really want to know is what it's like to disappear. Because you're scared. You tell yourself you want to die. That you wish your mom didn't save your worthless ass. That you deserve it. Now you tell yourself that if it weren't for me, you'd have ended things back in college. We both know that's a lie. Because you're a fucking coward. You'll stay alive as long as you can be with someone who can keep you alive. I could have treated you like absolute shit the past 5 years, and you'd still be around today. You fucking begged Dylan not to leave you. Just weeks after he punched you and gave you that scar. The one you said you got from falling against a cabinet. You're sick. Meanwhile, you let me put you in this situation. You said you wanted it. Do you still want it? No, 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 please, God, no! Cameron can't even move his lips. Anyway, I'm getting a little off topic, aren't I? You wanted to know what the afterlife is like? I'll give you an idea. Devon's voice becomes more muffled. Yo, Lupita, tell my boyfriend what it's like. It's quiet for a moment, and Cameron just sits in stunned misery, just waiting. A terrible demonic scream screeches through the phone, and Cameron's fur bristles all over his body, and he fights this prison that he's in with everything he has. And finally breaks free. It takes Devon a moment to realize the terrible sound is coming from Cameron. He's never heard him make a sound like that before. At that moment, whatever it is that has a hold on the bear dissolves, and Devon turns around, heaving for breath. When Dev looks at him, he sees Cameron's eyes are wide open. Cameron? Cameron makes that sound again. Though Devon has no idea what Cameron's seeing, he knows that is something terrifying. Devon feels himself beginning to panic. Baby, please! What's happening? Cameron just stares back, and Devon finally snaps. Cameron! Devon is stepping out of the closet when suddenly Cameron lunges off the couch, making a feral sound. The look in the coyote's eyes is so intensely unlike him that Devon draws back in fear. Honey, it's me! To Dev's shock, Cameron's paws fly to the bear's neck, but instead of squeezing like he thinks he's going to, they rip at the thick fur there. Wait! Stop! Devon manages to catch Cameron's paws in his own much larger paws, easily restraining the smaller male. Cameron continues to stare at Devon's neck, seeming to search intently. Then he looks up at Dev's face. I saw you dead. You called me and screamed at me. Though Devon doesn't understand, he can tell this wasn't one of Cameron's typical night terrors. The look on his face says it all. Fuck! I'm really, really sorry. I'm driving you to Peyton right now. Or wherever the hell you want to go. But as Devon tries to pull him to the door, Cameron resists. Wait. Just let me catch my breath, okay? Okay. Just take deep breaths, okay? Devon fumbles with the lantern until he turns it on. Then he stands next to Cameron for a few moments, listening to him sob. Can I at least hold you? Please? Cameron leans toward him as an answer. While Dev strokes his head, Cameron starts to rub his back, like he knows that Dev had been terrified too. I'm fine. It was just a really intense vision. I'm so sorry. I've never seen you like that before. You scared the absolute shit out of me. Did you think I was attacking you? Huh? You were going after my neck, sorta. Oh, no. I saw you hanging in the closet. Cameron's breath hitches in his chest. Like, from your neck. Oh, shit. Yeah. And it was so fucking real. They hold each other in silence for a while, Devon mulling over what Cameron just told him. Devon no longer has doubts that Cameron is psychic. But right now, that doesn't matter. He just wants a coyote to feel safe again. Devon? Yeah, honey? I think you were right. About what? Something happened. I don't know if it's ghosts or whatever the hell else that could have been. But that wasn't just me. I've never felt or seen things like that before. There's more to this than me being crazy. There has to be. We can talk about this when we're in Peyton, okay? Dev, I promise to be honest with you. I need to tell you something now, otherwise I probably never will. What is it? Dev's heart starts to pound as he sees the look on Cameron's face. Lupita was in this vision, Dev. But please believe me when I say that I don't think it was really her, but... What? Cameron hesitates. Cameron, please, tell me. I'm really sorry, but I heard her. And it was awful, and... I don't know. It was just a scream. It was horrible. The floor seems to fall out from under Devon, and he feels like he's falling into an abyss.